Since this being your game in Connecticut, from college or like the Storm or like All-Star games, or any kind of moments or games that stand out to your favorite in the state?
Including college?
Yeah.
How does one choose their favorite moment in the state of Connecticut? I am lucky that I have many to choose from. In college, there was, big games against Tennessee that stick out. There were games against Notre Dame that stick out. Obviously, the one where I hit a buzzer beater is going to stand out a little bit. Won championships here, in college. So lots of games to think about in college. I think what stands out most about in my WNBA career is, and this is kind of a interesting one to pick, when we played here in the finals in 2004, it was really great for me. This franchise is only like in its second year. It was always fun to come back, and I was really excited to come here to play in the finals. And then I saw like an poster, like an anti-Sue, anti-Storm poster, because they were cheering for their home team. And at first I was like, well, that kind of hurts my feelings. Like I thought this was my home. But then I also had a moment where I was like, well, that's actually pretty amazing, because there's Connecticut Sun fans, right? And that was like the start, I think, of this franchise building its fan base. Obviously, they had gotten to the finals a bunch of times in that era. So that would be the one that stands out.
Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned that last time you were here, just like, Connecticut having a franchise here, knowing with that
No place to go, yeah.
Just what is it? Just kind of whatever emotions you're just knowing is going to be, last to the state.
Yeah, very similar to how I've been feeling through the course of this season, which is I take my time in my private moments to reflect. I take my time in my private moments to have conversations with people and talk about these things, and the emotion, at times definitely catches up to me, but in a good way. And then when I'm in the moment, I just like to celebrate it. I'm still on a team that's trying to compete for a championship. So there is a balance that happens between, kind of enjoying the moment, but also, playing competitively and having that be the focus. So I try to find that balance. And then again, in my private time, take those moments to reflect. And it's not like a sad reflection. It's definitely a happy one, but the emotion, I think, is just in that it's over.
Does that compare to like when you announce the retirement, just now going through these different cities and different ceremonies?
Yeah.
I think they're doing a lot of emotions in that, and just the reaction you've been getting compared to kind of maybe what you anticipated.
Yeah, it's been interesting. There's been a lot of turnout from a fan standpoint, a lot of support, which, for the 2 to 3 minutes that the other team is recognizing me is great. And then there's a 40-minute game where, Phoenix gets to have 14,000 fans cheering against us. So, I think it goes both ways a little bit. It's wonderful the fans are in the building. I wish they were cheering for us the entire game. But all jokes aside, I've had some really special moments, whether it was in Phoenix, like I just mentioned, playing against Dee for the last time, in Atlanta, where Tanisha Wright, was the person who presented me with something at half court before the game. That had a lot of meaning to it. And overall, it's just been, a lot of great moments. Obviously, New York was really fun for me for so many reasons. So it's been fun.
You committed to UConn over 10 years ago, and also you could not move over to support
No.
UConn career, career.
Yeah.
You look back on that moment when you were committed to UConn. Would like to know now you're going to go here, your final game of the season.
Yeah, no way to have even dreamed of sitting here now after going to Connecticut, University of Connecticut, after having a 20+ year WNBA career. I mean, no way I would have thought that. So it is pretty cool. I am very proud of the things I've been able to accomplish on the court, and it started at UConn, right? I always say that's where the foundation of who I am as a player, as a person, was really established and developed, and I was able to build on top of that as I went through my career. It's just well, yeah, of course. The 95 team I watched on TV. There's other little moments where I caught glimpses of the team. I mean, you knew about them. Like when I was being recruited, it was like 96, 97, like you knew about this team. And really the reason I went there is as simple as it just felt right. Right. Yes, it was wonderful to go there and see the campus and see all, I mean, they were getting 10,000 people at Gamble, 16,000 at the Civic Center. Of course, that played a role. Of course, the coaching staff plays a huge role in that. The team plays a role, but all of those things you put into one pot and it just felt right for me.
Yeah. Are you expecting the UConn to show up? Do you know who's going to be in attendance?
No, I'm not sure. I'll see a couple of them tonight for dinner. And then we'll see who shows up tomorrow. Now, I think Coach Auriemma, Mrs. Auriemma, CD came last time. Yeah, the players and all of them came last time, like Jamel, Morgan Valley, they all came last time. So I know that they've got a lot going on. Like Morgan just had a baby, so no pressure.
Cool. And before we go to the Zoom, just want to step out. Do you have any more questions before we move? Go ahead.
Yeah, last time you were in Connecticut outside the zone was for the Olympic ceremony and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Do you come back often, if not for Olympics?
Yeah. I've definitely tried to come back as much as I can. Some years more than others. There's been times where I've come up for like, by coming up, I mean like going to campus, for like a week at a time. I would work out with Shay Ralph when she was still here. Obviously there were years I was overseas. It made it harder, but I would say in the last like 6, 7, 8 years, I definitely tried to come up, catch a game, work out with the team. Although I'm done with that, obviously no need for that anymore. But just like generally visit. And it's easy for me because, you know, I live in the Connecticut, New York area. So it's pretty easy to pop up. Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. It's like, this is a place where I really grew up. You know, for 4 years, we had an amazing fan support and they watched us all grow up and they made us feel like we were part of the family. They would send us cupcakes on our birthdays. And obviously they showed up for every game to cheer us on and they really watched us develop. And from there, you know, at the same time, you make friends who still live in the state of Connecticut. Obviously the coaching staff, you know, now that Jamel is back, Coach and CD haven't left, obviously, and then you add Morgan Valley. These are people I have, you know, incredibly close ties to. So it's like family is still up here. So that's kind of the connection I feel. Anyone on Zoom?
Yeah, let's go to the Zoom questions. Jeff, why don't you kick us off?
Hey, Stu, how are you doing today?
1 second. Is the volume low or is it me? There it is.
So, there, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so last time we were talking about kind of Seattle Storm culture, I wanted to continue that a little bit with a focus on the Force 10 ownership group.
Okay.
And like what they've done to build the culture and uplifting women and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those scenarios where they obviously have values that they stand on, and that value system gets displayed through our franchise, whether it's the way they treat the players, the engagement they have with the community, again, the things they do off the court, and the like the different, oh God, what's what I'm looking for? Just what they support and what they stand for off the court. And that support actually comes right back to the players, because anytime we've had, you know, different scenarios where maybe we wanted to, you know, back in 2016, we wore those black t-shirts. Obviously in the bubble, we did a lot of work. They're always the first ones to reach out and tell us that we have their support. And that obviously trickles in to the culture, which is, I know what you're getting at.
Awesome. And then looking ahead here in the schedule, you're playing Connecticut and then Washington twice, which is the team above you in the standings and directly below. How important is this week for you guys? And like as a team, how do you look at it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. You know, we're getting down to these final games where every game is going to matter. Every game is going to shift the standings. You know, teams are going to be moving up and down. And so you try to take care of business. You try to do what you can to control your own destiny. And so I think we're all just focused on taking this trip one game at a time. But we're very aware of what's at stake.
And last one for me for now is I know you've always been a pass first point guard, but do you feel like you maybe need to be more aggressive offensively or look for your shot a little bit more? Or is it there's so much talent on the team that, you know, it's okay not to be taking as much shots as you normally have been in the past?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's a balance. It's one that I've generally naturally just found, would find throughout the course of a game. So it really just depends on how the game is going. But I also know that it's not about shots, it's more about aggressiveness. I know if I'm aggressive, that can kind of unlock things for the entire team. So, there's been the last couple of games I've taken like one shot and then like 2 or 3, 4 maybe. So I don't feel like I'm turning down shots, but I do feel as if I could be a little more aggressive. And if that leads to a shot, so be it. But it might lead to other things, like I said, and it can open up things in different ways.
Definitely. Thank you, Sue.
Thanks, Jeff. Roshan, go ahead.
Hi, Sue. I just want to ask a little bit about the medical training staff. How do you feel like they've contributed to your longevity over the years? Whether that's the acupuncturist, nutritionist, chiropractor, kind of the whole group the Storm has going there.
Yeah, it's been a huge part. It's been well documented that, gosh, I guess it's been like 7 years now. 7 years now. Like 7 years now that I hired Susan Borchard and changed my entire regimen. And with that comes all the things you just named: our chiropractor, our nutritionist, our acupuncturist, massage therapy, the training staff, the doctors themselves. I've had multiple surgeries in the last couple of years, right? And all of that together is what allows me to stay healthy and stay on the court. It's really a combination of things. Sometimes one is more, sometimes I'm in desperate need of acupuncture. Sometimes I just need a massage. So sometimes one takes precedent over another, but for the most part, it's the combination of it all. And it's been crucial.
I imagine the care wasn't, quite as comprehensive when you first started in the league. Do you feel like stuff like maybe acupuncture and chiropractic care are becoming a little bit more mainstream as, people like yourself are kind of leaning on it a lot more?
Yeah. I think the key there is the part where it's mainstream, the part where it's kind of become the standard for players to care for themselves in this way. It always was available though. I know I can speak from a storm standpoint, for the most part. I mean, I can think back, we've had a chiropractor coming to practice since forever. I mean, I can't even think back to what year. It feels like it's almost been the entire time. Same thing, acupuncture, I would say the last like 10 plus years has been a part of the regimen. We've always met with a nutritionist at least once a year. Since my rookie year. So it's always been there. I just think now when you have athletes who are talking about these things and how much these things can help them and help with the longevity piece, I think athletes are now just a little more in tune to that and they're seeking it out, right? It was always available, but now you have the athletes doing the seeking out.
Right. And you just mentioned like 10 plus years of chiropractic care, acupuncture. Did the rest of the league kind of have that, or did you feel like the Storm kind of had a leg up?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm sure they did, but I can't speak to other teams.
Mm-hmm. Got you. Okay. Can you speak to, I don't know, maybe you've talked with other players, but how do you feel like your guys' training staff compares to the care that
I don't know. I can't answer that.
No, that's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Roshan. Christos, why don't you wrap us up today?
Hello, Sue. How are you today? I would like to ask you, speaking about Connecticut, what was the first time that you feel Connecticut is such a special place for you?
Oh, I mean, in college, I don't know if it was like the second I stepped on campus, but throughout my college experience, you just develop ties both to the state itself and the people who, would support our program at UConn. And then of course, the people, these people that I went to school with became family, the coaches became family, other people in the university became family, support staff. And so that's probably just in those 4 years is when it became a special place.
And winning NCAA championship, winning WNBA championship, how different was that feeling for you? And how could you make a comparison about winning NCAA championship and WNBA championship?
It's not an easy comparison because they're so different. I could sit here and tell you what makes one harder than the other, but then I could also go up, but it's actually harder over here. Like there's pros and cons, I guess, to both sides. For me personally, what made winning a college championship so difficult was we were the team to beat a majority of the time I was here. We had an X on our back. And, as it's been established at the University of Connecticut, and rightfully so, a successful season is winning a championship. And if you don't do that, it's just not as, it's not that it's not a success, but it's kind of not. I feel like we all go home at the end of a season feeling like we missed an opportunity. So it's kind of win or bust. And so when you do achieve it, when you do win the championship, it's a really challenging road for that reason, the pressures that exist, right? It makes winning that much sweeter because you held up this standard, you kind of held up your end of the bargain. In the WNBA, especially the first time we won, our WNBA team had never won a championship before. So we were building something, right? So the way I guess I compare it is like in college, it was something that the greatness of UConn they had won in 1995, it had been established. And now it was like, okay, you either win a championship or it's not a successful season. In my WNBA scenario, that wasn't the case at all. I mean, we scratched and clawed just to get in the playoffs my first year, and that was a success. So to actually win a championship, it felt like I was helping build something for the first time. And so that's kind of the differences.
And lastly, leaving your mark in community of Connecticut, leaving your mark in community of Seattle, what does it mean for you?
What'd you say? Sorry.
Leaving your mark in community of Connecticut and leaving your mark in community of Seattle, what does it mean for you to leave your mark in such important places?
Yeah, no, it means a lot. I hope I was able to, help inspire younger generations. I hope I was able to entertain people, across those two states. And, in a way, it's funny because I come to Connecticut and I talk about how it's my home. And I go to play in New York and I talk about how that's a homecoming. And when I'm in Seattle, all I talk about how it feels like it's home. So I feel really lucky, right? That I have these three places that I can legitimately call and refer to as home, because that's how I feel about them. And I think that is where, I don't know, that's where it's really special for me every time I do come back to those places. And of course, every time I am playing in Seattle.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Christos. Let's go to Kate real quick to wrap up. Kate.
Hey there. I was wondering how important it was to get back into the win column on Sunday and kind of straighten out at this point at the end of the regular season.
Yeah. We took our lumps on that mini little road trip to Chicago and Phoenix, learned a lot from it. And like you said, we're able to regroup against a tough Atlanta team. And of course, now here we are back on the road. And I think that's really just the life of a WNBA player, a WNBA team. You have to have a short memory. You have to learn from your mistakes and just keep it moving. And so that's what we're trying to do.
As if anybody needed, with the ceremonies, with the gifts, with all the fanfare going around your final season, is there any talk of, all right, let's get a good seed, it's last season, let's, we gotta put ourselves in a good position, this is her last season, like, is that a conversation that happens at all or no?
No, not in our locker room, no. I mean, I think we're also focused on it anyways. You don't even really need this extra thing to motivate it. We're already motivated. Every now and then when stuff does get said, it is very sweet, but this isn't just about me this season. This is definitely about our team and about this team's climb to the top.